again to David Osborne, and thank you for all of you coming. And so, according to President John Adams, there is not yet a democracy that did not commit suicide. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself through unchecked vanity, pride, selfishness, and ambition, with fraud, violence, cruelty immediately following. As we stand on what promises to be one of the most pivotal elections in American history, the celebration of our nation's freedoms and foundation of democracy feels simultaneously crucial and alarmingly precarious. Examining the history of our electoral system and the numerous issues that have surfaced over the years, from felony disenfranchisement and voter suppression to the Brooks Brothers riot and challenging to the Electoral College, I explored whether current voting laws align with the Founding Fathers' vision when they rebelled against British rule. Surprisingly, in many ways, they do not. America was never intended to be a fully inclusive democracy. It was founded on Protestant ideals, offering opportunities to white men of privilege. Even prominent figures like James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Adams opposed granting ordinary citizens the right to vote. Consequently, only 6% of the American population participated in the first presidential election, just 42,000 people in a country of over 3.5 million. In real time, we are witnessing a planned erosion of checks and balances, coupled with an alarming uptick in voter suppression, voter disenfranchisement, and voter fatigue, which could allow executive powers to expand unchecked. Systematic injustices persist, exemplified by biased employment practices and an irony of a candidate with multiple felonies vying for our nation's highest office while advocating for the disenfranchisement of others with felony convictions. 3.5 years ago, I watched in horror as the Capitol was stormed. And just 3 days ago, the Supreme Court's decision seemed to grant any president's unprecedented freedom to engage in criminal activities with minimal accountability. These events, along with others in recent years, have led to many, including myself, to question whether our democracy that we stand on can endure. As laws are twisted, districts are gerrymandered, and the political system strays from its intended path. Amidst these social fractures, left-wing politicians often claim recent manipulations and cultural shifts are not who we are. Yet these divisions and inequalities are deeply rooted in our nation's history and sometimes seem to be exactly who we are. Partisan extremes, left, right, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, manipulate the laws and public opinion, weakening the very fabric of our civil liberties. Meanwhile, the pendulum of politics swings violently, threatening to decapitate and gut the rights of aspirations of the American people, all while hate crimes rise and propaganda spreads. There is no more evident than in the most serious threat to American democracy, which is Project 25, a conservative 900-page plus plan authored by former Trump officials, right-wing extremists, and supported by more than 100 organizations, details a sweeping agenda. It aims to eliminate hard-gained civil rights of Black, brown, and indigenous people, women, reproductive rights, LGBTQIA+, and other vulnerable populations, while eliminating federal agencies and offices responsible for enforcing civil rights laws and placing trained right-wing ideologues in staff positions through federal government. Project 25 will reduce or eliminate overtime protections, food assistance, Head Start, education, alter Medicaid coverage for over 33 million people, deny student loans to residents in 25 states, erode civil rights protections in healthcare, education, and workplace, weaken child labor laws and veterans' disability benefits, eliminate infrastructure funding and negotiated prescription medicine rates for seniors, dismantle federal agencies, reconfigure the census to diminish Democratic representation in Congress, and reclassify federal employees for easier dismissal and replacement with party loyalists, all without congressional oversight or approval. My delivery of this information stems from a genuine concern and conviction. I fear the profound impact of this explicit manifesto could have on the communities that I serve and that we all live in. And we have to respect our nation. This isn't fear-mongering, it's not gaslighting, it's not hyperbole regarding the death of our democracy. It is the verbatim account of the commitments made by its author who asserted, "We are in the process of a second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be." Additionally, when queried about political violence following an electoral defeat, former President Trump ambiguously remarked, "I think we're going to win, and if we don't, well, you know, it depends." That casualness with which such individuals discuss violence against fellow Americans who dissent from their ideology is deeply alarming and demands our national attention. In reflecting our democracy's future, I'm reminded of Louis Brandeis's words, "The only title in our democracy superior to that of president is citizen." I'll repeat that again. The only title in our democracy superior to that of president is citizen. So rather than feeling powerless, I challenge each of us to shape the future of our government. We must demand a shift in cultural norms and political leadership. As citizens, we must define the boundaries of acceptable behavior for our leaders, their appointees, and yes, ourselves. It's not about partisan labels. It's about fairness and justice for all. Let us reject extremist legal and philosophical attempts to regress to outdated values and instead honor the amendments that have expanded our nation's promise of equality. Let us ensure that our laws are justly applied, guarding against any resurgence of prejudice or inequality. As we work towards a better future, let us heed the lesson of First They Came by Martin Niemöller. First they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, but I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. We could add that, but they came for the women, they came for the children, they came for the veterans, they came for the elderly, they came for our rights, they came for our democracy, but we didn't speak out. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. So regardless of the exact groups, Niemöller's message remained consistent. He declared that through silence, indifference, and inaction, that the Germans had been complicit in the Nazi imprisonment, persecution, and murder of millions of people. As Americans, we must work to ensure that this is not our epitaph. We must never forget our duty to uphold justice for all. America's not perfect. In just 24 short decades, her leaders have made significant efforts to both implement, where necessary, and amend the Founding Fathers' lapses in equality, inclusivity, access, and respect for all Americans. And although I have moments of fear and concern, I hold boundless hope for America's future. I am proud, I'm gonna say that again, I am a proud and optimistic American, dedicated to serving our community and our nation while upholding America's promise of liberty and justice for all. And on days like today, when we unite across divides to honor our nation's 248th birthday, my faith in the American people's ability to understand and respond with reasoned deliberation to the critical challenges that we face is renewed. I am confident that together we can defy divisive agendas and demonstrate that democracy can and will endure and thrive. In short, I believe we can prove John Adams wrong. Thank you for your attention this morning. May God bless Mount Vernon and these United States.